at the Sinn Féin Ardèche this weekend, the focus was the concerns of voters in the Republic. So when I caught up with Gerry Adams, the first question I put to him was why the party seemed to be struggling to make it into the major league of southern politics.
Well, we are in the major league. What we need to do is up our game, and we're about doing that. We've been through a period of fairly massive reorganisation in the last 18 months. A lot of what we warned and told people was likely to happen has happened. We think people are now more open to the arguments about fairness and equality that the bigger conservative parties, who obviously are acting in the interest of a very small clique, what's called the Golden Circle, we think those politics have been exposed. So I'm philosophical. We also, and you know this yourself, have spent a huge amount of time, years, decades, energy, stamina, in resolving matters in the north, or at least bringing them to the point where there can be an accommodation.
But has that sapped your energy? I mean, is that what the problem is? You've used up your energy in solving, from your point of view, the situation in the north, and now you need some new energy for the battle in the south, and it doesn't seem to be there.
Well, we have plenty of energy. Don't be writing us off. Don't make that mistake, Jim. We have plenty of energy as a party. Watch the panel. I'm sure the envy of other parties, the panels of young people coming forward, addressing the Ardèche, passionate, informed, articulate about their Republican beliefs and about their belief in the future. So, having said that, I mean, there's a lot being accomplished, and there's a lot more that needs to be accomplished in the time ahead. And the big issue pressing down upon people is the enormity of the economic recession, the hit that middle and lower income families have taken, and the part that this particular Irish government and successive Irish governments have played in that.
But you say people are more open to your message now, though. The polls don't seem to bear that out. If you were right about what was wrong before the last election, they're still not turning to Sinn Féin at this point. They're turning to Irish Labour. Why is that?
Well, I'm philosophical about that simply because we haven't had an election yet. And remember, since the last Ardèche, we had the Lisbon Treaty. And all of the other parties, every one of them in the Oireachtas, asked the people to vote yes. The broad media, the bigger business sector asked the people to vote yes. We disagreed. The electorate agreed with us. Now, more than with us, but we played a leadership role in that campaign. But anyway,
and yet it's a vote that may be rerun and it may get a different result. So it may have been a short-lived fillip for Sinn Féin.
Well, it isn't a matter of Phillips for Sinn Féin. I mean, elections will come, opinion polls will come, opinion polls will go, elections will go. What is needed is a society on this island which does not reward the greedy, which does not enhance the position of the super rich, which acts based upon democratic, egalitarian principles of equality and fairness and decency, which acts in the common interest and in the public good. And there are two debates going on at the moment. One is that debate, which I think we can take our time about, and the other one is how we fix the dreadful situation that's bearing down upon people at this time.
You say you had the analysis right before the last election, and you were completely different to these parties you now characterise as corrupt, Fianna Fáil in particular. And yet, if you had won more seats in that election in 2007, and if Fianna Fáil had won a couple less, you might well be in government with them today.
Well, we would only be in government, one, if we had a mandate, but also if we agreed a programme for government. We're not interested in being in government just for the sake of it. We want to be in government in order to use that political power to bring about a united Ireland, to bring about the type of positive changes that are required to ensure that, for example, we have decent public services, that we have decent school buildings, that we have decent hospital services, and across a range of what are necessities in people's lives, social and affordable housing. This time, getting Ireland back to work.
And yet in your speech, you're very hard on Fianna Fáil in particular. Have you ditched any idea of Sinn Féin going into a coalition with them after the next election?
Well, the issue of a coalition will be judged, one, if we get a mandate, and two, if we work out a programme for government.
Yeah, but you say, replacing a coalition that exists at the moment with another one involving Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael would be like replacing Tweedledum with Tweedledee. You effectively are ruling it out.
Well, the Ardèche will make that decision. I mean, what our Ard Comhairle, our leadership, has to do, and I note that you call this conference This is an Ardèche.
Indeed it is, but this is the name of the programme.
But, well, maybe that's something you need to look at. But coming back to the main point, the Ardèche will take the decision as to whether or not Sinn Féin will go into coalition. For us to go into coalition, we need a mandate, and we need agreement with other parties who also have a mandate on the type of programme which I have outlined here today. And the core point of that programme is about egalitarianism, it's about fairness, it's about citizens' rights.
OK, but the change that I detect within your speech is that you're now saying a call out to Irish Labour to join with Sinn Féin. That is a change.
No, we have always, and if you look back through my speeches, we've consistently argued for a mass movement. We've consistently argued for an alliance or a broad coalition of people with the same type of vision for a different type of Ireland, an Ireland which is radically different from the one which we have today, which is divided, which, despite the wealth of the boom years, that wealth was squandered, which has people and still in hospital corridors, on chairs, which has, and I can't resist just making this point very, very forcefully, which has at the top a small elite, which is given concessions in money, which is involved in dodgy dealings within the banking system, which has enriched itself and done so to the detriment of ordinary, decent citizens.
Of course, you mentioned about the reorganisation within the party. That has meant a refocusing of the leadership. You mentioned Mary Lou MacDonald, a key person within that now as Vice President of the party. She's, of course, standing for Europe, and yet she has got a fight on her hands now in a 3-seat constituency. What happens if she doesn't win?
Well, let's not contemplate defeat. Let's work best. Let's not take the electorate for granted. But Mary Lou MacDonald is a champion of the Republican position, and she will be, as she has just been, elected by the Ardèche to serve in that position. And she's one of a whole range, as I've said earlier, of young, articulate people from all corners of Ireland.
Is there enough of them, though? I mean, we look at you, 26 years in post, the longest-serving Irish political leader on the island. And, you know, where is the next generation coming through? People ask you, do you want to retire? If you were to retire, who would replace you?
Well, that's a decision for the Ardèche. It's not a decision for today. Every party has to regenerate itself. I think we're doing that. Look at other parties. Look at the SDLP. Failed to regenerate itself. Once John Hume went, the SDLP went also. Other parties here, PDs.
You're not irreplaceable.
Oh no, I mean the party's bigger than me, the Republican cause is bigger than me, the struggle for equality and asylum for a united Ireland is much, much bigger than Gerry Adams. But, you know, PDs last time round, no PDs this time. SDLP last time round, SDLP in the decline. DUP against power sharing, set out decades ago to smash Sinn Féin, in government with Sinn Féin, involved in power sharing, and although it's difficult for them and us, doing their best to try and bring about a difference in the lives of people in the north. OK, well, given then that you're not irreplaceable, when will you consider your position? Well, not today, and not in this interview. What's the party's strategy now? Where's its main focus? Is it in the Republic of Ireland? Is it the economy? Is it jobs? Or is it Irish unity? Well, it's all of that, and there's another prong, and that is to maintain and sustain the development of the institutions in the north, and to try and bring about and to deliver for people the type of changes which people deserve. Irish unity, key Republican objective. This year we'll have 2 major conferences in the USA. Next year, one in Britain. We continue to engage with unionists. If they want the union, then let them persuade us that that's good for us. We're up for trying to persuade them of the desirability. I mean, it's their Ireland also. That's key. But down south, sorry, and then on the economy here, I mean, that's an immediate task. In January, 1,000 people a day lost jobs. If that continues before the end of this year, there could be 400,000 people out of work. There could be 500,000 people out of work across this island. It doesn't have to be like that. Gerry Adams, many thanks indeed. Thanks, Jim.